host of the Gridiron.
Absolute, probably one of the, there were other bad seasons and all of that, but this one, it's just like with what's going on there with Saquon, and you know what? If he went to the Saints, and everybody was making fun of the Giants for letting him go to the Saints and all that, that would still hurt. That would be a good kick right square dab in the cojones, right? But going to the Eagles, I mean, wow. Yeah, that it's just, and it just, we're one of the worst teams in football. The Eagles are now apparently the best. They might even win the Super Bowl and all that. And it's all because of us with Saquon. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. The Eagles don't have a phenomenal passing game, right? It's all because of Saquon. And, they have a good defense too. Right? But if it wasn't for Saquon, would they be in the Super Bowl? I don't know. So, this season is just absolutely just been quite possibly the absolute worst, most embarrassing, biggest freaking nightmare season ever. Right? As far as I can remember, we've had some bad seasons and all that, but this is one. This is bad and embarrassing because the one guy you didn't want to pay a top dollar for, right? To keep your best player, you didn't want to keep your best player. You holding out for a couple $1 million or so. And the thing is that he offered, I think, 3 years, $12 million a year, $25 million guaranteed. Yeah, but that is $25 million guaranteed, but that was like a 3-year deal. So it's not. It's like, so you want to get away on the cheap. Well, what if you would offer him guaranteed $1 more million a year for the 3, right? That would have gave him $28 million guaranteed. Would that have been such a hard price? But and of course we didn't know about that until we saw it on Hard Knocks, right? So you saw the embarrassment of Hard Knocks, the embarrassment of we're the worst team in football, didn't want to pay our best player. And then of course he goes to to me, the worst rival of all, because I'm down here in South Jersey. I'm about 25 minutes, depending on how fast you drive and all that, from the Walt Whitman Bridge, which once you hit Walt Whitman Bridge, on the other side of the Walt Whitman Bridge is South Philadelphia. That's where the Eagles play. So I'm about 25 minutes. It takes about another 5 minutes to get over the bridge, a couple minutes, but it depends upon how fast you drive. So literally, I'm about a half an hour away from South Philly, right about where the Eagles play, and I'm in square smack dab Eagle country down here. I can't stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. So to me, this is the biggest rival. The Cowboys are right there too. But to me, because I'm in Eagle country, right? This is the worst. And the thing make it even worse, right? Is that as unbelievable of a season he's having, and he's going to help them win the Super Bowl, right? And then the biggest kick in the corners, right, is and it's going to wind up happening. It's going to happen, right? Is that there's going to be 800 million Eagle fans at the parade, right? And they're all going to be all drunk, and half of them be eating horse poop, because that's apparently that's what they do. Anytime they win a Super Bowl or something like that, the police on horses walk around and the horses poop, and for some reason the drunk scumbag Eagle fans pick the poop up and eat it. Don't know why, but that just goes to show you what kind of scumbags they really are. But anyway, the biggest thing, it's going to just be and I'm not watching the parade. I'm not listening to the parade, whatever, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Saquon's going to go, right? And they're going to hand him the microphone, and they're going to give him the trophy and all of that. And everybody's going to be freaking out, right? Saquon, Saquon, Saquon. And Saquon's going to talk and talk and talk. And, of course, he's going to give his little jab in there to the Giants, and he's going to hold the trophy up, right? And he's going to say, "Thank you, New York Giants." And the fans are going to freaking go freaking bananas. "Thank you, New York Giants." I know he's going to hold it out there. "Thank you, Mr. Mara. Thank you, Joe Shane, for not signing me." Holding the trophy up, and everybody's out there. 800 million green Eagle scumbags out there, all doing the tush push, banging each other in the ass, right? Sucking each other off, all going freaking bananas as Saquon's out there holding up the Super Bowl trophy. "Thank you, New York Giants," right? I know it's going to happen. As I said once again, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to, it'll be on TV and all that and everything, but I know it's going to happen. And just the absolute total freaking nitmare season that this is absolute the worst season that I've ever, most embarrassing, right? And finally it'll be over. So I think the Super Bowl is the 9th. Well, after the Eagles win the Super Bowl, I think the parade is either that Monday or Tuesday. So by the 11th or 12th, this nightmare season will be over, right? So hopefully we can move on. But yeah, I know that's going to happen. It's going to happen. He's going to make it once again. He's going to, I always get a little dig in at the Giants, right? And it just the nightmare season is just most embarrassing, and it just, and also it's because it's to me, it's public enemy number one, the Eagles, right? We let him go to them, and that's why they win the Super Bowl. It's because of Saquon Barkley. It's just unfreaking believable. That's because Joe Shane didn't want to ante up another additional like $4 or $5 million guaranteed over a 3-year contract, right? Right. So, I mean, I said, if you couldn't come up with like $1.5 million extra guaranteed to keep your best player, your best offensive player. Yeah. I'm going to also, obviously I did a video last week. Said maybe Joe Shane was right. You don't need a running back to make it to the Super Bowl. It's it's helpful that the that certainly helps, but you don't need a running back to make it to the Super Bowl. I said once again, one of the biggest reasons why the Eagles are in the Super Bowl is because they have a bunch of players on their roster that they have all these void years added on the end of their contracts. I said the thing I can't say is that if you sign somebody to a 3-year contract, right? When the 3 years is up, the guy has all of his money, and that contract is off the books. It's but the Eagles that's the way it is with the Eagles. The Eagles put void years on the end, so they push all the money down the road. Don't like that. Should be plain and simple. If you can't afford to pay the guy and get his contract off the books in 3 years, if it's a 3-year contract, if you can't afford to pay him all his money in 3 years and get the contract off the books in 3 years, if you can't afford to do that, you don't get the player. Plain and simple, right? So, but that's not the way the Eagles. The Eagles are kind of sacrificing the future because they're pushing money down. But that's why their team looks so good right now, right? The Giants, have quite a few guys on the roster. They're making a lot of money, right? And we're paying them. As I said, we paid Daniel Jones $40 million this year. Jalen Hurts is making more per year than Daniel Jones, but Jalen Hurts is only his cap hit was like $11 million or $12 million, something like that this year. Because with Joe Shane, right? When the Daniel Jones 4-year contract is up, all the money is his, and the money's and the contract's off the books. Actually, the contract will be off the book after next year. The contract will be off the book in 3 years. That's not the way it is with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is like a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal, but plus maybe a 4, maybe it's 4 something like that. But there's another 4 years added on to the board. So Jalen Hurts' 4-year contract is actually almost like an 8-year contract. It's not the way it is with, you know what I mean? So I can't stand it, but I could see that happening. Oh, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to listen to it, whatever. But Saquon Barkley holding up the Super Bowl trophy, 800 get Eagle fans out there, all dressed in green, vomiting, eating horse poop and all that stuff, banging each other in the ass because they're a bunch of fags. And Saquon will be out there, and they'll be going freaking crazy. And Saquon's going to hold up the Super Bowl trophy. Thank you, New York Giants, and the fans will be going crazy. And just another, it'd be absolutely, it'd be like the climax to the absolute worst, most embarrassing season ever for the Giants. The Giants were 112-1 in '66, but it wasn't this embarrassing. Right? It wasn't this embarrassing.